With this particular video, having the tabs in hand might be a little helpful, and you can get those over at my Patreon. Hey, it's John McNicholas. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Let's just jump right in. I'm going to do each guitar part separately. We're going to start with the rhythm guitar part, and then we're going to do the lead guitar part. But I am going to do that little riff right up front. You know it. So we've got 4th string, 2nd fret, and we're going to bend it up to that E note, which is the 5th fret sound. And he's not using a pick, so he's just going back and forth with it. And then he's going to slide up to 9 to 7. And then we're going to come back down here, 1st finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the 3rd string, 4th fret. We're going to pluck both of those. So we've got finger off. And then we're going to come back and get the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And then 4th fret on 1, 2nd fret on 1, 4th fret again on 3. One more time. That's that little intro riff, and now let's take a look at some of the rhythm parts. There's potentially a lot going on with this rhythm part, but I tend to think it's pretty straightforward. I've listened to it a bunch, looked at a couple of live recordings. There's not a ton of great live video, but you can get a better idea from hearing it. So at some points it looks like they're playing a big E chord like this. 1st finger on the 4th string, 6th fret, 2nd finger on the 5th string, 7th fret, and then sometimes it looks like there's a pinky down here on the G string, 9th fret, which is just going to be an E chord with no 5th. Has a cool different sound. And then at some points it sounds like they might be coming from the 9th fret to the 8th fret, something like that. I think it tends to sound like that because of the other part. So I think that's influencing what I hear on that part. I think it's just going to be a straight E, 1st finger, 4th string, 6th fret, 2nd finger, 5th string, 7th fret. I think it's that simple. And then it's just going to go up 1 string to make a B. We got our 1st finger on the 5th string, 6th fret, 2nd finger on the 6th string, 7th fret. A weird note in there. So again, the intro chord-wise, I think is just going to be E to a B with no 5th. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I do believe that's the intro. It is all down picking. When we get into the first verse, it's going to keep up that pattern going from E to B, and it's going to do it 2 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now to the B. To the E, 2, 3, 4. When playing that B, it's important to mute that 4th string so you don't get that note, which I could kind of hear occasionally what I was doing. If you want to, you can get your pinky down here on the 4th string, 9th fret, and play that octave. You can even do that with the E. And then just move that shape. But I'm not seeing live footage of her doing that, but your mileage may vary. This next part is kind of a refrain. We're going to start off with like a D7-y kind of shape. Our first finger is going to be on the 3rd string, 6th fret. Our second finger is going to be on the 4th string, 7th fret. Our third finger on the 2nd string, 7th fret. And then we're going to need our pinky to come down to the 9th fret. So, and you can include that A string in there too. And now we're just going to move our first and second finger up to the E chord. That's going to repeat. And that's that little refrain. The second verse is going to be a little bit different, but it's going to start the same. It's going to start with the E for 4 measures. Go over to the B. Back to the E. Go to an E7 to an A. So let's talk about that E7. First finger on the 4th string, 6th fret, second finger on the 5th string, 7th fret, third finger on the 3rd string, 7th fret. So you can almost play like a C shape. The same kind of thing. I always think of it as a D7 shape. That's where my brain goes. So, after that 2 measures of E7, we're going to have 2 measures of A. Not major, not minor, just a little power chord. So it's going to start off with E. 1, 2, 3, 4. To B. Need that D. Back to E. To E7. To an A5. That's your second verse. Let's take a look at the first chorus. The first chorus is going to go all the way down to an F sharp. So we can just have our first finger on the 6th string, 2nd fret, third finger on the 5th string, 4th fret, and then the pinky right up underneath it on the 4th string, 4th fret. So it's going to go from F sharp to B, F sharp to B, F sharp to B, and then to E. And then it's going to have a little in-between part that you're familiar with where it goes from E to B. So let's just count it off and do it together. F sharp, 1, 2, 3, 4. B, F sharp, B, F sharp, B, and E. Stay on E. Now over to B. Let's do that one more time. It's a little bit of a long part. 1, 2, F sharp, B, F sharp, B, F sharp, B to E. Pattern starts again on E. Now over to B. That's the first chorus. Verse 3 is going to be exactly like the first verse. It's just going to bounce back and forth from E to B 2 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. back to E, back to B, one, two, three, four. And that's the third verse. The second refrain is going to have that D7 shape again. Back to the E. Let's do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the second refrain. Once again, the second chorus is just going to bounce back and forth between F sharp and B. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Two more times. That's the last chorus. In keeping with the previous chorus, the outro is going to do more of the same. At first, we've got F sharp to B, to F sharp to B, to F sharp to B. Now E5 to A5, now F sharp to B, F sharp to B, F sharp to B, and now E. And that's going to be the whole song. All right, let's start to take a look at the lead guitar parts. Let's refresh our memory of that intro lick. Second string, 4th fret, bending up, and then an open first string. Getting back to the 2nd fret. 4 times. Now we're going to slide up to 9/7. And that's just going to be all with our fingers. So there's a couple of... No pick, but if it's better, use a pick. Halfway through the first verse, we've got that lick coming back in. Except for this time, instead of going 9/7, we're going to go 6/4 on the 4th string. And that's all the lead parts for the first verse. Getting into the refrain, we have some sort of country style riffs. So we're going to go from 12 to 14 on the 2nd string. First finger on 1st string, 12th fret. And then back to 14. That's going to repeat. And now 2nd string from 12 to 9. Next, we've got a little riff that's going to utilize an open E string from 12, basically sliding up to 14. So 14, 14, 12, 9 with that open string reading. If you want to slide it or hammer on, sounds good either way. And then the second time through, just got a half as much. And then we're going to do a little walk up. First chord is going to be, these are all going to be 2nd and 3rd string. We've got 4 and 5. Then we've got 6 and 5. Then we've got 8 and 7. And then 2 9s. going to kick back into the second verse. Again, up to 9/7. And then this little riff is just a little bit simpler. 4, 2, 4, 4. 4 on the third string, 2 on the second string, 4 on the third string, 4 on the first string. Back to the bends. And then we're gonna have that 6/4 again on the fourth string. All right, let's take a look at the next chorus. We can start off with that similar pattern, except we're not gonna go down to 9 on this time. We're gonna go 12 to 14, back to 12, and then back to 12 on the second string. Do that 2 times. And then we've got a cool little riff. First and second string, from 7 to 9, hammer on the second string. And then 7 to 8 on 2 and 3, 2, 3. And then we're going to keep that shape when we're going to go down to 5, 7, 8 again. And then we've got 2 notes on the 9th fret. And then back into the bendies. Then we've got that full little accent at the end. Getting into this next verse, we're going to have a lower guitar part for the lead part. It's going to start off on 11, then 9, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 11, 9. And then we've got a cool part here where it slides between 9 and 7. Then up to 11 on the 5th string. So all together, 11, 9, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 11, 9, 9, 9, 7, 11. That's that verse. This refrain is just like the other one, where it slides up from 12 to 14. And then 12 to 9. And then it's got that 12 to 14 to 9. And then 12 to 14. Yeah. And then we've got that climb. So strings 3 and 2, 4 to 5, 6 to 5, 7 to 8, and then 2 9s. And that's the second refrain. The final chorus gets pretty layered up, and some of the parts get pretty hard to hear, but you can make out the first few passes through before it gets just overwhelming with sound. But you can hear some of the other little parts kind of sprinkled in, so go ahead and give that a listen with some headphones on, and maybe you can pick them out better than I can. So we've got a familiar pattern. We're used to having that up on 12 to 14, but now we're going to have it on 7 to 9. It's going to do that again. So I'm sliding from 7 to 9, 7 on the first string, 9 on the second, 7 on the second. It's going to do that twice. And then when we've got that little hammer on, and then as that kind of fades out, I can hear like a high 14 to 12. And to the best of my ability, that's the whole song. Well, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe down below. Share it with a friend. Leave me a comment. Maybe there's another song or artist you'd like to see me cover or try to cover, you internet monsters. Also, check out my Patreon. We're going to get access to a PDF and a Guitar Pro of this lesson and hundreds more. And finally, my podcast, John Teaches Guitar. Thanks. Have a great one.